Well, I've returned to the home of Margaret Graham. Some of you may remember I came and interviewed young Margaret when she did the very first play for Ifill Barn Theatre that was put into a book and then on stage, Miniskirts and Revelations, and how fantastic it was as well. One of the best shows we've seen. So we've come back to talk to Margaret. Margaret, hello, how are you?
I'm fine,
Are you well?
Yeah, fine. Thanks, Shelley, and you?
Very well, thank you. Now, we're coming now to chat about the sequel.
That's
and
right.
It's called Flowery Shirts and Strange Relations.
That's right.
It's very similar.
Well, that's the idea.
Yeah. I couldn't get my tongue around both of them. Well, I
We just call it Flowery Shirts.
Yeah. Now, tell us a little bit about how the sequel came about.
Even before I'd finished, or before we put Miniskirts and Revelations on, while we were still rehearsing, I remember one of my colleagues at the barn who was watching it turning to me and saying, "You know you're going to have to do a sequel for this." "Really?" He said, "Yes." He said, "Because these characters, people will want to know what happens to them next." And he was quite right, because people said, well, what's going to happen next? You know, what's Grandma going to get up to now? So straight away, as soon as we'd finished Miniskirts and Revelations, I started writing the sequel. And it was easier this time because I'd really got to know the characters and I could just imagine them doing all these things. So, yeah, that's how it came about.
The first one, the Miniskirts and Revelation, it was amazing. We came to see it at the Ifill Barn Theatre, and it was absolutely amazing. And I totally agree. It did leave me wondering, well, what happens to them next? So well done on that. And obviously the original one, Miniskirts and Revelations, if people didn't see the first interview, Margaret wrote this and it went to print. You got a few publications out of that, didn't you?
And it received the NODA, National Operatic and Dramatic Association Award for Excellence last year.
Get you. See what we've got in our midst and we don't even know, but we do now. Right, Margaret, tell us when the play is going on at Ifill Barn Theatre.
Well, it starts this Wednesday, the 4th of March, and it's on until Saturday evening with a matinee in the afternoon. We've only got, out of the 5 performances, we've only got just over 20 tickets left, seats left. And I think it's 4 on Wednesday, the first night, and around 20 for the matinee on Saturday afternoon. That's at 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. So, yeah, it's going well.
Yeah, it's going very well. Now, for those that don't remember what the original book was about, it really was based on your days in Ifill.
Ifill Park, yeah.
Ifill Park.
My parents founded Ifill Park Care Home.
Oh, that's right, sorry. Yes, the care home.
Old People's Home,
yeah,
as it was called in those days, in 1954. So I grew up there and spent my teenage years there. And in those early days, it was very much like a guest house. And we had all sorts of characters, not just the residents, but staff and volunteers. And it provided really very rich material, along with my teenage diaries that I wrote at the time. And that's what I drew from when I wrote Miniskirts. And
the follow-up, the sequel, is that pretty much from your experiences and memories as well?
Well, I hasten to say it's not all personal experience and memories, but the setting's still the same, in the kitchen come living room of a guest house, and yes, there are things there and mixtures of characters that I've drawn from, but I should say, especially once you've seen the last scene, that a lot of this is imagination or embroidery.
Well, that's wonderful, and I'd like to wish you all the very best for that. Is there going to be another sequel?
I don't. I think perhaps we'll leave it at 2. But I've got some very different writing that I've got in mind for the future.
So we're going to see more from you then.
hopefully.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, I'd like to wish Margaret all the best for the play. Please get your tickets now. There's only a few left. I remember when we interviewed Margaret last time. Well, I think we interviewed her about 2 weeks before. They were gone in a couple of days after. So please be quick and go down and see these talented people. There's some great actresses and actors in the play. Go down and see it. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you, Shelley.